is going to have a sex change operation.
No one is going to have a sex change operation.
Open the door, hop in that DeLorean, and get it up to 88 miles per hour so we can get back to 1989.
The month was July. George Herbert Walker Bush was the president. Read my lips. This aggression will not stand.
Fine young cannibals, Milli Vanilli, Madonna, and the Jacksons were at the top of the music charts.
I was playing the hell out of Super Dodgeball on Nintendo and cursing in my TV trying to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We were a few short months away from the Game Boy's release in the US and one Christmas away from opening our new Super NES.
His defense was impregnable. Mike Tyson knocked out Carl Williams in under 2 minutes for the heavyweight boxing title of the world.
We lost Bugs Bunny and got Harry Potter. Mel Blanc passed away on July 10th and Daniel Radcliffe was born on July 23rd of 1989.
Batman was #1 in the box office, setting a record reaching $100 million in 10 days. On July 5th, Seinfeld, or as it's known at the time, The Seinfeld Chronicles, aired its pilot episode on NBC.
Oh, and also on July 5th, Weekend at Bernie's made its way into theaters. And wouldn't you know it, that's the film we're talking about today.
What it is, D?
I'll tell you what it is.
I fell down a lighthouse. I had a corpse wash up next to me on the shore. And then I find out that my dead boss, he's not only a thief, he wants to kill me.
Weekend at Bernie's is a family-friendly dark comedy about an age-old tale. Rich boss tries to trick 2 schmuck employees into being the fall guys in a scheme that he's wrapped up in by inviting them to his fancy island home.
How would you two like to come to my house at the beach?
They're so excited to live it up, thinking their luck is finally turning around.
He loves us.
The man absolutely loves us.
But then the boss gets whacked.
Ow! Ooh, what was... Oh.
So naturally, and through a series of totally implausible happenstances, the 2 schmucks orchestrate barely elaborate schemes in order to make their boss appear to still be among the living, so they don't have to miss out on their fancy island weekend they were looking forward to. From there, it's one funny bit after another, all revolving around the same running joke. There's clearly a dead man in all of these situations. Oh, and somehow nobody has noticed yet.
Doesn't anyone realize he's dead?
Andrew McCarthy plays a lovable wild card. Jonathan Silverman is the perfect straight man with a great deal of laughs coming from his reactions to the ensuing absurdities. And witnessing Terry Kiser's ability to bring so much life to the character of a dead man is worth watching Weekend at Bernie's on its own.
All right, Dave, let me tell you, man. If this came out in 89, I want to say, I'm pretty sure I saw it in 89 or 90, because at that time, the good old folks over at Thelma Roy and Clifford Roy were making me in 83, and your parents were making you. So we started watching film at an early age. But the first time I saw it, I'll tell you what, right then and there, that's one of the first few movies I saw, not only in life, but that made me fall in love with film. Because I loved how creative it was. It was something different than any other movie I had seen. I had seen the same old plots every time. And this one, not only was it different, I mean, I appreciate it more now as an adult, but just seeing it back then, it was just like one of those things that Weekend at Bernie's, even though now that I'm thinking about it, I'm being funny here because of course there was a black person somewhere in there, I'm sure of it, if I can really go back and try and find one. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of hard, and I did the rewatch today. But point being is I didn't see color when I saw that movie. I just saw a film.
Yeah.
Was there a black person in it?
I'm trying real hard to remember.
Like,
if so, they got by me. I can't remember when the first time was I watched Weekend at Bernie's. I don't think it was right the year it came out. It was probably sometime in the early 90s, but I will say it was one of those movies. I had it on VHS. It stayed in the VCR for like a few months straight. I'd put it on when I go to bed. I'd usually fall asleep at about the time that the big standoff is happening between Paulie and everybody towards the end. And I knew when it got to that scene, I'm like, okay, I got about 10 minutes to close my eyes, or I'm gonna have to wait for this shit to rewind.
Speaking of Paulie, he's a little bit rusty than he thought.
It was probably my introduction to dark comedies. And it was such a great time to watch movies because, like, before we did the rewatch, I looked up online and you know, and now all of a sudden I'm watching it through the veil of like all these criticisms and everything that people has to say. Like, why do you have to say anything about this as we have things to say about it? But why do you have anything to say about, like, why are you holding this to some ridiculous standard? It's a movie from the late 80s. Just have fun with it. You're going to talk about, it's just a running joke that it's crude. Like, what the hell? It's a movie from the 80s. It's a comedy.
But it's not. It's actually the opposite of a running joke. Don't you know how hard it is to? Yeah, he's dead the entire time, but you have to find new and creative ways to move him. And somebody plotted this.
I would argue that they succeeded in keeping the same joke, because I thought that all the bits and how they kept him alive was just so. It was creative and entertaining.
It was never the same thing.
Okay, untie us.
Yeah.
Every time they came up with something new, the elements like took it over from them. Like even at the end when they were
the buoys went. Oh.
You hear something? There it is again.
And what you say? You hear something?
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was.
So yeah, the first time I saw it. But this way, the first time I saw it, I knew it wouldn't be the last time I saw it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was a rewatch because I think I got into it because I was already a fan of Andrew McCarthy because of Mannequin. So I went into and he's pretty much the same character in this. Like the dude from Mannequin ends up finding his dead boss. It's a short premise.
I was praying that somehow he was Melissa McCarthy's older brother, but he's not.
I never even put that two together.
It's not true. I just wanted it to be. I'll jump right into it. I don't even have to open my notebook. But here's the thing. I wouldn't have known this was my favorite scene, but again, I had to go back and watch it again, of course, for our rewatch. It's something, and maybe I'm wrong for this, and maybe I'm just evil inside. Something about seeing that dirty, dusty man get vacuumed off by them when he came in from the sand. It was just kind of like the first time you're like, this may not be, because you can tell sometimes they use the body double, but sometimes it really had to be him.
They did a really good job in that movie of capturing the feeling of the elements, like the heat of the city when they're on the roof and everything's sticky, and yeah, like when they're vacuuming off like the soggy sand off of a wet.
Comes off, and then old boy comes back and he staples it down to his head.
Huh? Oh, brilliant.
These characters staples down. So that to me, and again, there are so many funny things that happen in the movie, but for some reason, I don't know what it was that does to me, seeing them dust off a dirty Bernie. Can he keep the dead guy clean?
I had to say, I was watching it today and I was trying to find like what my favorite scene is. And there's not really like one particular scene that's the scene that makes the movie. It was just like all of them together. So there's some quotes that stood out to me. So I'm just gonna rattle those off. Like, does this look like 10 or does this look like 10:30?
Why is that funny, Dave?
You're a half hour late. Only a half hour? Usually 45 minutes late. I'm early today.
Like, that is your logic right there. But what was cool about that one line of dialogue is it set up the relationship perfectly between Richard and Larry, because why is he waiting there for him so they could walk together, so they could be late together? Like, he's sitting there.
I know why, Dave. This is the 80s. There's no cell phones. There's no pay. Like,
well, that's true, but they're walking to the same place. He's standing on a street corner for 30 minutes waiting for somebody. Now they're both going to be late for work. I think it just comes down to the fact, like, you kind of see it in his character throughout the whole movie, that he is like, he's good. Like, it's kind of like our dynamic. He's good for keeping things on track, but he would never have any fun if it wasn't for his friend. So he's like, he acts like, oh, this is so troubling to me. I'm so annoyed and frustrated by these antics. But at the end of the day, he's sitting there waiting for 30 minutes to walk to the same place with him. And when it all comes down to, like, when the shit hits the fan, he's always looking to him like, I don't want to do this, but say we should do it anyway secretly, because, you know, I would never live if it wasn't for Andrew McCarthy's character.
I will never make you wait 30 minutes again. Did you catch the running gag? It's almost their version of Case of the Mondays thing. And they started with, in the beginning of the film, they were like, hey, hot enough for you?
Oh
That
yeah,
shit kept
yeah.
pissing me off, man.
When one of my favorite parts is when they're sitting. Andrew McCarthy is great in this, but when he's sitting there and Larry, he's on top of when they're sitting on top of the roof, and he gets in the kiddie pool, and like he wants to be at the beach. This is not where he wants to be, and he's just sitting there, and he looks so discontent, like he's just like rocking in his discontentment, trying to like keep himself wet, but the water is evaporating quicker than you can spray it, and he goes, this sucks. I am so unhappy.
This sucks. I am so unhappy.
Like he just says it out loud. I am so unhappy.
I know you say you didn't have a favorite scene, but that scene itself kind of sets up, and that's why I say
hold the phone, Lair. Hold the phone.
If you notice that scene, really, it sets up. It foreshadows how big of a prick. If you're only gonna have Bernie alive for a little bit, then you got to show how big of a prick he is.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they turn the air off, you're coming in on a Saturday. And your idea of the beach is having to go up there where the roof is still not even finished being tarred. It's still
it's finished.
Oh yeah,
the shit just stays so hot, the tar remelts and reforms every night.
Oh my god! And think about the blocking of that shot. Initially, we think they're at the beach.
Yeah,
Right
they
away
did.
until
They
like
had the
30
music
seconds.
playing,
Yeah,
the island
yeah.
music.
He had the stuff on his nose.
Excuse me. My aunt is very sick.
My aunt is very sick.
Oh yeah, yes.
That's a great line. That's just a great delivery. The line is ho hum, but the delivery. My aunt is very sick.
Here we go.
You get Bernie's power move when they go in the office. But I was talking about the cocaine.
Yes.
But that was so funny about that part. He goes, "All right, what do you gentlemen got for me?" The minute that they start talking, he just walks into the other room, shuts the door
immediately.
Yeah, it's like that was such a dick move, but they played it so hard on the angle. It's like this is a rich yuppie smuck from the 80s. Like,
Speaking of that shit, the 80s, it's hot. It's New York. You know how hot it is, bitch. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Give me your money, your wallets. Oh, get your ass out of here. It's too hot.
Motherfucker tries to mug them. He was like, "Hey man, it's too hot.
Get the hell out of here. It's too hot."
And his friend is standing there like, you can still rob me if you want. I'm here.
Yeah.
The guy was like, "Yeah man, it was kind of hot." He's like, "Man, get out of here." It's like they rather die than like putting up with that shit.
I will say one of my favorite scenes was when Richard brings Gwen home, when he takes him back. Like, they set that up so perfectly. Like, staying at your parents, that's got to be horrible.
Well, it's either that or living with my parents, and I don't think that's such a good idea.
No, I can't blame you. I mean, who'd want to live with their folks?
But then, my parents died in a train crash. Put your hand on my hand. I thought it's usually planes that crash.
Well, actually, a plane fell on the train.
On the train.
I wrote that down. I was like, that shit's funny as hell.
And then the dad comes out. He's like, that's all right, Monroe. That'll be all. Lay out my gray suit for the morning.
How about I lay you out?
Yeah.
Your butler talks to you like that? Well, once you say he was in the Marines or
Yeah,
something.
he's a vet or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then when they run and jump on the ferry, it was such a cliche joke. Like, you almost kind of know in hindsight that's obviously going to be a punchline to the joke. But they play that so well. They're so excited. They're running. You get caught up in the excitement with them. They jump. They barely make it on the boat. Larry, this boat is docking.
Larry, this ferry isn't leaving. It's docking.
It's coming in. How about the audience obviously knows Bernie is dead, but the moment that it dawns on them two that Bernie is dead, Andrew McCarthy says,
why does this always happen to me?
Yeah. He's serious.
Yeah. Why do these things always happen to me?
Yeah.
What kind of host invites you to his beach house for the weekend?
He couldn't
and then
wait.
And then the guy, what's his name? Jonathan Silverman. He's trying to figure shit out. He's getting on the phone, and Andrew McCarthy is still sitting there sulking about it. It's like, and how am I going to get back to the city? He offered us a ride.
And how am I going to get back to the city? He promised me a ride.
And see, here's the thing about it.
Sulking like a little child.
I identify with his character so much because I would have been that same person. Like, bro, he's dead on Friday. He'll be dead on Monday.
Yeah, I saw his. It's funny when I watched it, like as a teenager, even young 20s. Andrew McCarthy's character was always somebody that I kind of like idolized because he's the cool guy.
Yeah.
He's carefree. But watching it recently, it was like, man, you are you only care about yourself, even when they're in the office and he's like taking credit for Andrew McCarthy's work. But the minute that was
he worked on that part.
Richard worked on that part, sir.
Yeah,
How long you been working
you're right,
here?
sir.
He
And
was
then
like-
as soon as they get back on the good graces, here he comes back signing in. Yeah, you know it, Burn E. Burn E.
Burn E. Oh, yeah.
Always taking it there.
Connection here.
Okay.
It's
Be careful, because if you name one, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Well, there's this one moment about 44 minutes in when they're at the house party and everybody shows up at Bernie's. Speaking of mannequin, there is a black dude. Aha! There is a black dude.
Yes.
No, in this, because I swear to God, I know it's not Hollywood standing behind him in this scene, but there is a black dude with, you remember Hollywood from Mannequin, like the.
Oh, you are right. I thought about there's one big, out of place big black guy with like.
He
He
was,
has a tie on
I
with
swear
no
to
shirt.
God, they were like, it was like
That's what they had to
Easter
get it
egg.
down for the funding or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the only black guy that I remember in there.
Well,
Watch
then-
somebody go back and look at the movie and spot like 30 black guys and say we're wrong.
At that party, the dude trying to negotiate with him keeps coming, like
Who reminded me of Hector?
yeah. But all the situations within that party, like people like coming up to him, the dude's like, hey, you're feeling kind of tight, Burn. But that one dude that's trying to buy something from him, he keeps offering him more.
Okay, Bernie, I'm going to shoot the wad. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to go 40,000.
Which I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, fucking rich people, even when they're dead, they still like make money doing nothing. Like their stock is going up, and he's literally dead doing nothing.
It was very strange.
50,000. Yes. I knew it. Thank you, Bernie.
Still at the party.
Nice outfit. Look even nicer. Crumpled up on my floor in the morning.
Polyester doesn't crumble.
Polyester doesn't crumple.
Like, how weird was that? He just said, I went to school with her dad. And you heard him say that, like, yeah,
That was very freaking weird here. Oh, where was it at?
okay, what do you remember about that note that Lomax wrote?
Very little, now that you mention it.
Okay, he goes back and reads it. And the note that he wrote for them killing, for what they did, it was like, what to cut me and such stole the money.
Oh yeah, and why do I have to be the one that got the sex change?
That was the connection. I mean, it's not it is. What's the connection? I'll help you out. Dog Day Afternoon. He robbed the bank to get the money for the sex change.
Was Andrew McCarthy in that?
No,
you're okay. That was a great scene.
They were paying
though.
homage to that. They were paying homage because it's like a suitcase full of money. Like they robbed the place to get money for a sex change. He was robbing a bank. They were robbing a company for the sex change.
Yeah.
Dog Day Afternoon, man.
That's a great line though. Why do I have to be?
Be the one to get
Yeah,
the
why
sex
couldn't you have? He's so childish in his emotions and speaking of man, the 80s, man, I'm so jealous of him. Andrew McCarthy's just burning them.
And he's not even burning all of them. He sit down the girl, how are you? She's like, fuck you. Like, fuck. He just flicks it away, the full cigarette. I said, David's dying.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I'm thinking, like, oh, well, yeah, this is the 89. He's probably, $2 a pack or some
What
shit.
about the, of course, I know you got the other connection, the Ferris Bueller connection.
No.
Hi, Bernie. He
Oh,
pulls his
yeah,
hand
yeah.
off. He pulls his hand off.
How about the necromancer?
No, you mean the sex romancer?
I'm his woman.
Wookie cookie cookie, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoopie cookie cookie, yeah. Zita-da-da-da-da-dow.
Got a little scotch.
My thing is, there's two things I learned from that scene. How fucked up was she? And apparently,
She was on a cocktail.
But doesn't matter. Clearly, he doesn't never really do it for her anyway. As far as he's not excited.
I'm his woman.
So I never thought I would find something more demeaning than what happened in Die Hard with the necromancer. But this is a secromancer.
Ask me if everything went all right up there.
Did everything go all right up there?
Never been better.
Never been better.
That was good. Why does she look more Cuban and authentic in the restaurant?
She was giving me Gina Gershon vibes, but I knew that Gina Gershon would have been too young at that time.
She could have given me anything except BD.
Yeah, there's a, for Christ's sake, Larry. No, oh yeah, that line right there when he's going on about the sex change. Jonathan Silverman's delivery of his response.
For Christ's sakes, Larry! No one is going to have a sex change operation.
No one is going to have a sex change operation. That little thing. I can't even do it. Like he made his voice.
But what's crazy about that, again, that's why I told you they were paying homage, because again, Dog Day Afternoon came out in 75, I think, or not 79. So that had already been a running joke for years. So it's like when you watch movies like Airplane and stuff like that, the more we do these retro reviews, we're reverse paying homage to films. Because again, in the 80s, they paid homage to Easter eggs from the 60s and 70s.
Watching Paulie lose his mind throughout the whole thing, like imagine being Paulie in this situation, thinking that you definitely killed this guy, but now you're definitely seeing him out and among the living it up, having sex.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I know Paulie was a hardcore killer who was a little rusty, I would have when fucking Bernie fell on me, I would have left after that. Like, man, fuck that. Bitch.
Yeah.
Like, nah. And he was like, I got you. And he checks his pulse again.
Bernie. Yeah, that was. Yeah, we'll all go back to the house. We'll all get the goddamn keys. We'll all stay with Bernie.
Okay, we'll all go back to the house. We'll all get the goddamn keys. We'll all stay with Bernie. All right?
Fine.
They get so good at that, like right after that, when it cuts to them running with him, they picked up that right, left, right.
Oh, they did that really
left. When they come running up to the house and they've got the stride going with him.
See,
in
that's
the
what I'm
middle.
talking about. That's why people can't complain. It's not a running joke, because before they got out
Oh,
of the
that
car,
was a running joke.
I mean, that was a running joke.
Yeah.
Per se.
Bernie's picked up a little weight.
I mean, the whole movie is just like one fun running bit that they find they just find creative ways to keep coming
the
back.
running time, no pun intended, is like 93 minutes. But to be honest with you, it feels like it plays longer than that, and I'm not mad at that.
No, because it takes them like 40 minutes to get out to the island for like the real fun to get started. Those are the parts that I always remember, but I always forget until I go back and watch it. Like that whole first 40 minutes is still really good in the city. Like the scenes with them and Bernie in the office and like set the one with the parents and them on the rooftop, like all that stuff.
And talk about coming out at the right time. And then when you do the rewatch as a teenager, this is for all my teenage boys. Hopefully your parents aren't watching right now. Go watch that restaurant scene.
Oh yeah.
You'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name? Like
yeah, it's like God.
Vito.
Damn, talking about playing pussy.
Vito.
Excuse me, Vito.
Vito.
Yeah, he did say that.
Vito. The guy's name happens to be Vito. I never even put it together that Vito is also stop.
One thing you don't see as often anymore, which is why you got to give the two leads really credit in this film, is because they don't get enough credit for, and you used to see this a long time ago when you just had to be more than funny, their physical comedy as far as having to carry him around and make it, because not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
They're running with him. And most people, it wasn't always just a dummy. Some of those parts was really him. But even when it was the dummy, I got to remember my lines. I got to act. And now we got to physically be moving this man around.
Yeah, the physical. You don't really you either get movies where you have to choose between physical comedy or like wordy joke, intellectual humor or whatever. And this one, you kind of get a little bit of both.
Right.
It's Looney Tunes style.
All right, so honorable mention. I'm going to go ahead and just say this. Honorable mention to Paulie. Paulie was in majority of the movie, but every time Paulie was on the scene, it always amped up. It was a lot, and it was just like, and it is funny. He starts with, I'm a little rusty, but I'll do it. It was a joke, but like he got down there, like I had to kill this motherfucker. So definitely,
he was good.
I want to definitely give honorable mention. Have you got any honorable mentions?
My honorable mention would be Terry Kiser, Bernie, because like I said, the way he brings so much life in, but I never once questioned.
The performances were
stunning. Oh yeah, the performance. It was a little over the top when he was alive. It was far better once he conked out.
I like both.
I like both too, but he was overselling the fact that he was a rich prick, which I'm fine with. It was 80s, that's what you get. But the way he pulled
you can't get that Maserati.
Yeah,
paint it, but just paint it. I'll take my business.
See? How hard was that?
See how easy it is to do business with me?
Yeah, Ellis. After lunch.
Way
after he was I've always, and even in the sequel when he starts kind of coming to life with the voodoo shit, he's just really good at playing the dead guy. I remember enjoying the sequel. I remember it being like jumping the shark. Yeah, but the hump in the ground as he gets up when the music, when the conga starts playing, he starts humping the ground and that'll be another one.
All right, so let me ask you this. So let's do this. Let's get
and we don't have to choose. We don't have to.
I know. I'm just going to tell you. I just want to see if we got the same thing. Give me a little drum roll right there. We'll sit on the count 3. 1, 2, 3.
Jonathan Silverman.
Wow.
If you would have asked me 20 years ago, I would have said Andrew McCarthy.
If you would have asked me 20 years ago, I would have said Jonathan Silverman.
Well, we crossed paths in the night.
I'll plead my case for you, even though we did that earlier.
Yeah.
Real quick here. To be, again, it's the physical prowess, which, of course, I have to give him a little bit more credit because he spent a little bit more time with Bernie than Silverman did.
Us?
And Sim was out there trying to get some ass. By the way, that girl really felt. She didn't fall off, but damn, she looks like every girl I would have masturbated to back then in the 80s.
Yeah, she's a Cindy Crawford feel to
definitely
her.
Beautiful eyes and everything.
She still looks good too.
Yeah, call me, babe. But no, seriously, his performance. I went back and looked at it. It gave me a Steve Martin, a Chevy Chase, and our guy, Angela's favorite guy from Clue,
Tim Curry.
But he's in control of it, and that's what's great. No matter whether he's in an ensemble, whether he's by himself, and he's all, and you just saw it, and it was. I'm sorry, man. For me, it just really, I didn't expect that from him. Maybe I hadn't seen him perform in such a long time. I went back like, this is one of those performances people need to go. And don't get me wrong, his dynamic does not work without Silverman. They are outstanding.
They're Farley.
Did they not keep doing movies together?
I don't think so. They're Farley and Spade though.
They are Farley and Spade, and that's giving them high praise. So for me, it's a very intense role. Even when he has to be serious, like the range to say, why does this always happen? Because he wasn't joking when he said he did that.
When Paulie was bearing down on them, and towards the end, he's like, I'm going to die. I felt that. I know this is a comedy, but there was real emotion in that line.
And then he thought about it. He grabbed that fucking cord. That's a cord, kid, that goes into the wall. He grabbed that, and yes, you can strangle someone with it. And to do that little acting bit where he's wrapping them up, but he's also stepping out of it. It's like, come on, man.
He nailed the physical comedy. Yeah. I agree with everything you said. I think Andrew McCarthy was great. I think all the main, there wasn't like any bad acting in this, but I give it to Jonathan Silverman because I think he made me laugh, if not more, at least as much as Andrew McCarthy. And I think it's hard, it's more challenging to get laughs out of people when you're the character that Jonathan Silverman has to play. Like Andrew McCarthy is supposed to be the funny one, but but I think most of Andrew McCarthy's comedy works because of Jonathan Silverman's character's existence. And Jonathan Silverman, I mean, they need each other because Jonathan Silverman is reacting to Andrew McCarthy, but I just think he did such a, like most of the lines, if I could give it to Jonathan Silverman specifically for that, no one is getting a sex change operation.
For Christ's sakes, Larry, no one is going to have a sex change operation.
that right there, I don't question his sincerity.
His beats were amazing.
And those little eyes, the glances that he would give Andrew McCarthy is just so good.
My aunt died.
So I mean, if that doesn't tell you it's a great movie, I mean, we're torn. The two leads are the scene stealers, and you get them through 99.9% of the whole film. If this were to be made today, who? Let's do Andrew McCarthy.
I already got everybody. Well, I got the two. I got McCarthy and Silverman.
Who do you?
If I give one, you're gonna know the other.
Okay, who do you got?
I'd like to see this with Key and Peele.
Oh, that.
You're gonna write it? We'll write it and we'll
that would be good. You know what? I was gonna try to think of something right now, but I can't think of anything better than that. But I would say that if they did it, Terry Kiser, Bernie could be Bryan Cranston.
Oh, I like that. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And it would be so unsuspecting, like to put Bryan Cranston, this Academy Award winning, I think probably should be actor, in a role where he's just dead and speechless for a majority of the screen time.
Because his facial expressions, well, he's dead, but he would still be able to have the mannerisms.
He would have to get the mustache. The mustache is everything.
Oh yeah, that would.
Because the little lip curl that Bernie has most of the time, like how you notice how his like one lip is just usually always curled up, and most of his, like he's sitting there like even as a dead guy, he's sitting there smugly like.
Dude, that's one. If you're gonna do a fucking remake, that's one of them you do because again, you don't have. You can do the remake with you don't have to have the same plot of them stealing from finding the company stealing. It can be manipulated a little bit, but I like them in that to me because I can see you would of course have Key being McCarthy, and then Silverman would be Peel, because he can play that part. He can play that little
manic part or whatever.
like that's it. So I would really love to see that shit.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Maybe we should just write that in pitch it.
Maybe. All right, before we get into the review, you're going to the theater. Here's what your options were back in July of 1989. See no evil, hear no evil. Oh, you had it was a hard choice. If you were going to the theater and you only had the money to spend on one ticket, this was a difficult choice this weekend. See no evil, hear no evil. Roadhouse, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Vampire's Kiss, Dead Poets Society, Star Trek V, Ghostbusters 2, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Batman, Do the Right Thing, The Karate Kid Part 3, Lethal Weapon 2, and Great Balls of Fire, along with Weekend at Bernie's. Are you going to see Weekend at Bernie's or something else?
Lord Vito, I'll see you in the art gallery.
I knew you were going to do Ghostbusters 2.
Suck it, James Sim CD Reviews.
Tragic. I think, out of those movies, I probably, because like I said, I had already seen Mannequin. I like what Andrew McCarthy was doing. I probably would have, out of all those, seen Weekend at Bernie's. Because,
that Tom Hanks in Mannequin? No, Tom Hanks is not in Mannequin.
No, it was Andrew McCarthy.
He was the guy that was trying to prove that...
he was the guy that was dressing up, that was falling in love with the mannequin. He was the main guy.
Who was the villain? Who was that guy?
The villain was the dude from Police Academy.
Ah, that's it. That's not Proctor, but one of the... I know you're talking about. Yeah, it might have been Proctor. Shit,
I think so.
Yeah. Lassar's okay. Yeah.
So, what do you give Weekend at Bernie's 1 through 5?
1 through 5. Now this is not cinematic class. Just as far as an 80s comedy, what I give Weekend at Bernie's 4.5. It is a fun ride, well written, well acted. I didn't find myself looking down at my phone. So you didn't have those back then. You had to really pay attention. I had my phone with me today. Other things were going on. I watched it. I laughed. I really didn't find any plot holes. And again, when you've seen something, it's like, we got to review it. I'll watch it again. But I found myself thoroughly enjoying it. It was bringing back nostalgia. I hadn't seen that tar scene in 20 years.
Yeah.
On the top of the building. So,
it was crazy how much I remembered it. How much it stuck with me after not seeing it for so. Yeah.
I knew that boat was docking, but they made it look like it was going away. So, I give it 4.5.
I give it a 4. I think it would have got a 4.5 or a 5 if it were 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes shorter. I think they could have got away with doing this movie in 80, 85, 90 minutes, and it would have been tighter as far as the pacing. But that didn't ruin it for me at all. For what it is, it's a fun movie. It kind of throws logic out the window, and as long as you're along for that ride, you can have a fun time with it. The characters are just lovable enough. They recognize when they're at least one of them recognizes when the other one's being a piece of shit. So you don't.
Yes, operator, can you give me the police, please? Thank you. Incidentally, you're a disgusting human being.
Yeah, all the acting is good. It's an original idea, which we don't get those very much anymore. I haven't seen anything close to that before or since.
Right, because you know why? Nobody wants to fucking do that physical comedy like that anymore. And even not even that. Think about and the reason why I give it the 4.5, because if you don't know, if you didn't, not every scene, but back in the 80s, they didn't have budgets to pay the actors and the stunt actors. They were doing some of their stunts in that office when they're getting ready to go to the beach, and McCarthy jumps up on that chair and it comes down. That's him. Yeah. I've done that, and I almost broke my fucking ankle.
Yeah, there was no cheat in that.
And he didn't tell the director he was going to do that. He just did it because they wouldn't have let him do it. And the things where they're running around and doing this, those are that physical comedy.
I just gotta say, I love the golf carts. When I was growing up, I wanted that life. Like Terry Kiser, all the golf carts on that island. Like when they get off on that island, and Bernie gets in his little golf cart convertible and he's zipping around the beach. And then I never noticed until we rewatched it that there's the rich people have golf carts, but then as people are getting off the ferry, there's this little corral of wagons for the people that are not.
That's what Vito Pauly took that.
Yeah, they get you to rent a wagon.
And he was talking to him he was like, "Hurry up, come on, let's go."
Yeah, so it's
a fun ride, man. Here's the crazy part about it. You know what? And if it was, you know what? It checks the box for if it's on. I'm wherever it's at. I'm watching.
For sure. Yeah.
So there you go, guys. So for all my people who are 1983 and above, tell us what you think about it when you go back and watch it, and what do you remember nostalgia-wise? And I challenge all you millennials, pill poppers, what is it now? Horse, fentanyl, whatever you guys are doing out
Clorox.
there. Put down the hard stuff.
Tide Pods.
Pick up some weed. Watch Weekend at Bernie's, or Weed in at Bernie's, if you will. By the way, there's not a lot of weed in here, but there is a lot of have a coat and a smile. Well, Dave, we did it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, join us next time. So you will be watching. Why did he slide out like that? He got that from the show Southside. Hey man, what's your name? Hey guys, hey gals, did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
I know I did. And here's something YouTube thinks you'll like. They've actually recommended. What do you recommend?
I recommend that if you have not subscribed to our channel, that you please click right down there and make sure you correct that wrong this very instant.
Let me ask a question. Where can they find us?
All those places over there, we're everywhere. Everywhere.
We thought we could do a cooler outro. We're just going to walk away now.